NPC Review. Here we are going over 7 NPCs that have the potential to become operators. NPCs that have some sort of claim to become one or are just popular enough that people would be happy to see them, regardless. I will also try to predict what kind of operator they would be and give some sort of justification as to why. Now I want to preface the rest of this video by saying that none of this is my opinion, this is actually fact. I have insider information that the next NPC to become an operator is Frostnova. You heard it here first. Starting at the least likely to become operators, we have of course Viviana. Now I will warn you that I am incredibly biased against Viviana's introduction as an operator, because if she was an operator I would have to fight her for Null's hand in marriage. Her role in Nearlight as a supporting character and elite enemy, as well as what happened to her at the end of Nearlight, doesn't scream to me at all that she would be leaving the bounds of Horseland. However, her story is linked to that of our very own Null, who is currently back in said Horseland, so I guess we'll see Viviana whenever Null decides to bring her girlfriend home. I know a lot of people want Viviana to be playable, and many have predicted that she would be a mystic caster, kind of like Ebonhall's Iris and Indigo, which I do kind of agree with. However, just for the sake of going against the grain, I will say that she'll be a Lord Guard that specializes in nuking. Because, contrary to what you might remember, Viviana does actually have a sword, and trust me, her sword won't be the only thing swinging around when I finally get her. Second on the list is Rhinelab's very own Mule, or however the hell you say it, I'm just gonna call her Mule. A character that is mentioned in many different places, various events and files related to Columbia and Rhinelab. Mule is such an important character to Rhinelab that it would be a stretch to say that she would become affiliated with Rhodes in any way. However, I will give that it is implied through Ifrit's files that she has snuck onto the Rhodes Island landship before, and I sincerely hope that that's not the only thing she's good at sneaking into. Also, if there is ever to be more Columbia-based events, such as a much anticipated Blacksteel event would be that Hypogryph is keeping hostage, I wouldn't be surprised if the mischievous Mule poked her nose in there somewhere. I predict that she'll be a dollkeeper specialist, because she has shown in Mansfield Break that she can make and control copies of herself out of water. And the thought of that definitely makes me a little bit wet. Next is Lin Yusia, the daughter of the Rat King that makes an appearance in 5 separate events. I am very disappointed that I have not seen anyone try to make a rat spin meme with Lin, so I'm taking points away because of that. The story nowadays has shifted away from Lungmen City, but since Tallulah was broken out of jail, we are likely to see more Chen in the story, because obviously we haven't seen enough of her at this point. I would not be surprised if Lin also made a return sometime in the future, and I'll predict that if she ever does come back, she'll be a Hexa support with some sort of debilitating sandstorm ability like her father the Rat King. Also, don't ask me how this works. I used to be curious about this, but now I don't even think I want to know. Of course, you all saw this coming. Next is Munch, starring as an assassin and spy from Break the Ice, which is definitely the coolest event we've had so far. A subordinate of Gnosis who is often kept in the dark about the true purpose of her missions, which at the end of Break the Ice leaves her with a feeling of betrayal that causes her to disappear, and we never hear from her again, kind of like your father. I believe that Munch is likely to at least return to the story as an NPC, but if she was also to become an operator, the best I could say is that she would be a fast redeploy, or an executor as the young ones say. Because we haven't had one of those in a long time, and it is thematic with the whole assassin thing. Whether or not she will also feature the whole cold and freeze thing is at this point up to Hypogryph, and whether or not they've just completely given this mechanic the cold shoulder. Now for all you Ursus enjoyers, we have Leto, who I won't spend too much time on, and the reason why is we don't know all that much about her. She appears in Among Us the movie Lord of the Flies edition, and she is the only one of the Ursus student self-governing group that is currently non-playable. I am very much expecting that we will return to Ursus eventually because of Dragon Lady, and who knows, maybe Leto will appear once again, and if she does, she'll be a Charger Vanguard because she is the high-spirited, jovial character of the USS GG. And we all know that Charger Vanguards have to be tomboys. Yes, even Reed, you know she's just suppressing it, don't lie to me. Next, we have Doma, aka what Heidi should have been called. A Sarkaz orphan, Doma was adopted by a doctor working at Mansfield prison and has ever since lived her entire life with an extremely dead look on her face. She doesn't really have all that much personality attributed to her, but the extremely dead look she always carries is certainly enough to renew my will to live. As the most trusted friend of healthregeneration.exe, Doma traveled with Tony the Tiger to Rhodes Island after the events of Mansfield Break. She also has a codename, Lotus, so bonus points. It felt right to me that Doma should be one of those new chain medics, which is something that just happened on the CN server if you are not caught up. Yes, we have chain medics now. I wonder who thought of that. The justification as to why Doma should be a chain medic is because prison and chains, you know? Are you seeing it yet? That it's like prison and they like chain the prisoners, and Doma worked in a prison, so and she would be like a chain medic. Yeah, you know, let's just move on. And the last copium huffer I wanted to go over is Ines, a character that doesn't have that many appearances in story, serving as a main character in only Darknights Memoir. However, I believe that of the characters I have mentioned here, Ines probably has the biggest claim to become a Rhodes Island operator in the future. Her backstory as a mercenary before the time of Rhodes Island and the fact that she was drawn by Leduc makes me very interested to know what her E2 art would be like. Her connections to Babel, W and Kazdel all suggest that Ines will be, at the very least, returning to story in some form or another. Since in case you didn't know, it is heavily suggested that she is still alive and currently in Londinium. And what would you know, their main story is also in Londinium right now. I'll predict that she'll be a protector defender because there's no way that Hypergrip will waste all of that juicy, thick. And that about wraps this up. Are there any NPCs you want to see in the game? Do you disagree with any of my predictions? Are you the biggest copium huffer of them all and hoping for Tallulah? I really hope you aren't, because that's not healthy. You should go get that checked out, man. Like that's a bit much. Bye.